So today I'm devastated, really. I really am. I had a vegetable garden, but this was one of my raised bed vegetable gardens that I made. It had some really solid seedlings growing. There's another one over there that fared a little bit better. This one had some subdividers. They were quite shallow subdividers. They were just put there to remind me of foot by foot planting for organic purposes. So I had to lift them up because they were actually, so they're sitting there, they were actually causing it to become more of a swimming pool than it needed to be. Since over here, those bottom four in the corner there, they didn't have anything planted in them yet. So I wasn't that concerned about that. Actually, I was thinking it might have helped in a way to save my climbing spinach at the back there, which it may well have done, but the climbing spinach is going strong. But this rain in Yorkeys Knob, apparently, I just found out today, apparently number one of the list of the world's most ridiculous named towns, Yorkeys Knob. You should see it when it's Festival of the Knob time. We're the laughing stock of everywhere, but I like to think it's a special place. And I think if you talk to anyone from Yorkeys Knob, you'll get the same answer. It is a special place. But anyway, we had unseasonal rain. It's now, like a few days, a week, just over a week away from our Australian winter. And we've had days of non-stop rain, which has taken like fabulous soil and brought up all the stone and sand, brought it all up to the surface, but just drenched everything. And you know what, when I built this, I wasn't thinking that we'd have torrential rain, which is ridiculous of me, I know. I should have built a some kind of drainage system, like physical drainage system, not just going through how I prepare the soil, but a physical drainage system underneath the raised bed, but I did not. So I've sort of ended up with this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go along and individually and systematically see which plants I can actually maybe restore by strengthening the root or strengthening the stalk connected to the main root, strengthening that and seeing, like for this, for example, I just came over here earlier before, I think my carrots just rooted. One thing I can do is try and transplant them, but they have been under a fair bit of shock already. But if I transplant them into some dry soil, they might have some hope. I don't know if anyone has a better idea. Please let me know, like an idea that I can use now, like not what I should have done, because we're all full of should have, would have, could haves. But if you have some legitimate feedback that can actually help me in my situation, I'd be really, really more than open to it. I'd love to hear from you personally. So here, I reckon, look, what's happened a lot, as you can see, the roots here are virtually right up to the surface, washed right up to the surface. So this one earlier, I just propped up a bit, just transferred a bit of stronger soil around it. It's not in a place of, I know it's not the best place for a vegetable garden anyway, but it's not an ideal place for afternoon sun, that's for sure. So, we are heading into the afternoon, but if you look closely here, you can see the roots coming to the surface there. So, I have to inspect all of them individually to be able to give them the respect that they need to be able to live and grow. To do anything else would be to have a blanket solution to this is, all going to be in hindsight really. Oh yeah, I should have had better drainage. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. But, even just propping them up like that is better than doing nothing, I guess. I have a really high powered light on them, but it's not a hydroponic light. It's not for, it's actually my studio light that I used to use to take photos of vintage clothing that I used to sell online. That's all it is. Gives it a bit more light and drying out, but it's really, if you're going to measure the effects of it, I'm pretty sure they'd be close to zipping zero, but they make me feel better, the lights. So yeah, it's not a lot, like I said, it's just a studio light. So But it's the brightest bulb I could get, the highest lumens I could get, and it's got to be better than nothing. I'm devastated, really. But, you know, some things will just show you how strong they are, really. But, yeah, it's just, you can see how heavy the rain was just from the wash-up. If you can see there, like, on the back wood there, you can see that's how strong the rain was, for consistent for a good 3 days, and it just wasn't ending, so they didn't really have a chance. Really, they're just, like, looking like they're going to die really quickly. Yeah. So, but spinach going strong. You know what? These are actually Asian varieties of spinach that I have that are going strong, and that doesn't surprise me. Like, Asian varieties of spinach are more resistant to a lot more water and humid drenchings. And even though it wasn't a summer drenching, it was still a humid drenching because it's still quite hot. I'm still not wearing a jacket or anything here, so it's still quite humid. I just don't know. Like, I just have to do the best I can to avoid this happening again. And, you know, it's an expense and a process. And I think for once, I just want to say to all farmers out there, on a micro scale, a very micro scale, and for me learning gardening in the way that I am, I just can't even imagine what it'd be like to lose your whole yield. And for Aussie farmers that this happens to, they go through drought with no rain at all, and then all of a sudden rain. And if this is the sort of thing that happens, what can I say? I mean, it's heartbreaking, isn't it? And this is just on a micro scale, and I'm devastated, you know. It's my little pet project, but to all the farmers out there in Australia, yeah, it's my charity now, I've decided. Any donations through me will be going to Aussie farmers suffering from, well, we call it drought, but really, you suffer from drought and then downpour, and then drought and downpour, and I just can see how devastating it must be. So here's a holler out for all the Aussie farmers that get up and just restart again and know what they're doing too, and still can't make good of it. And it must be exhausting and heartbreaking. Yep, that's me out.